Rod, how are you?
Good morning. What's up, Dan?
Oh, we got a lot of things to talk about.
Why's that?
Well, no, just topics. We had a topic yesterday that I thought you could weigh in on. McLovin had the topic. I'll let you try to convey to Rodney what you were trying to convey to me, McLovin, about Rob Gronkowski.
So if Gronk wasn't on the Patriots, he wouldn't be full Gronk. Like Jimmy Graham, if he went to another team, he could easily drop in production. So I think part of his excellence is the system he's in.
I can agree with that. You could say the same thing about Rodney Harrison. You could say the same thing about Tom Brady. You could say the same thing about Teddy Bruschi, Mike Vrabel, a bunch of guys. Well, I played 9 years in San Diego. I played 6 years with the New England Patriots. I learned more in 6 years than I've learned in, high school, college, and grade school combined in those 6 years playing with Bill Belichick. So I think you could say that not only about Rob Gronkowski, but myself as well.
Would Gronk still be a Hall of Fame caliber tight end elsewhere?
Dan, it's hard to say. I mean, Tom Brady makes a lot of people look really good. Deion Branch, he's freaking MVP of the Super Bowl. And he went out and got him a $40, $50 million contract. Would he get that type of contract without Tom Brady? Who knows? I probably not. But it's, Tom Brady, he's made a lot of people careers, man. And he made a lot of people a lot of money. The fact that he's such a good quarterback, he's been so reliable, he's been so consistent over the years. And that's the one thing about the Patriots. I mean, even if you don't have, great numbers, if you play on that team, people want you because they know they know you know how to win. You're a professional. Bill Belichick taught you certain things. So, if you just continue to do your job like he always says, you're going to get paid from somebody.
Did you ever get Brady a Christmas gift?
No, he's got too much money. What the heck could I give him? But he was really, really nice. I mean, one year, he actually gave me an Audi A8, the little sports car, a $130,000 sports car, and he just let me drive it for 3 months. And he forgot he even gave it to me. And I'm like, dude, do you want your car back? Oh, I forgot that you even have it. But, it's a $130,000 car. You just let me drive it? Just let me drive it. Who does that?
So he didn't get you. That's what he gave you. You didn't get him anything.
Man, no. I didn't give him anything. I just, it's one of those things. I just tried to be a great teammate, and when I had opportunity, which I had many, to pick him off and frustrate him in practice, that's more of a Christmas gift, pissing him off.
All right, I saw this. Mike Pettin of the Browns said that when you look at the elite quarterbacks, you put the Bradys in there, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger. But as far as Russell Wilson, he's not in that elite group. He's in the next tier of quarterbacks. What do you think of the Browns coach saying that?
I think that's fair. I mean, I think that's fair for him to say, and that's not a jab or a stab at Russell Wilson. I mean, he's still a young guy. He's learning. He's developing. He's getting better, and I think that's a great thing. Obviously, he's surrounded with a wealth of talent. You put Russell Wilson on the Cleveland Browns right now. He's not Russell Wilson, so. I think, obviously he's worked extremely hard. I think he's a smart kid that is learning how to be more of a leader and taking control. That's what we see right now each and every week. But I think that's a fair assessment of Russell Wilson. I don't think he's a Tom Brady or a Aaron Rodgers, anything like that, but I think he's, here in the next 2 or 3 years, I think we can see that emergence.
I saw that your comments on Sunday night, you and Tony Dungy talking about Johnny Manziel, that both you guys, from your different perspectives as a coach and as a former player, saying you wouldn't want him in the locker room, you wouldn't trust him. Tony saying that he wouldn't draft him, and you said that you wouldn't want him as your quarterback.
Well, I like Johnny Manziel when he was in college, and the excitement, the competitiveness, and things of that sort. What I don't like is, as a teammate, you're trying to depend on a guy. This is the NFL, man. We need everybody. It's 53 guys, and, if you're the first-string quarterback or the second-string quarterback, we have to be able to depend on you. And, obviously he went back on his word. He went to rehab and, did some things that he probably shouldn't have done, and I know he probably regrets it. But at the same time, man, business is business. I mean, we only got 16 games, to play, and NFL lifespan is only 3.5 years for most guys. So, if I'm out there on that field, and if I'm putting my work in, if I'm sacrificing, if I'm keeping my nose clean off the field, I expect my quarterback to do the same thing. And, I think this guy's been given ample opportunities. And he's one of those guys where you can't trust him. If you can't trust him, I don't want you in the locker room. And this is no personal shot at Johnny Manziel because I think he's a heck of a talent. I really loved him in college. He brings a lot of excitement, but at the same time, that excitement is one thing, but I need consistency. I need dependability.
He's Rodney Harrison from Football Night in America. You can see him on Pro Football Talk, airs Monday through Thursday afternoons on NBC Sports Network. All right, clear up where you are with the Carolina Panthers.
I think Carolina is the best team in the NFL, point blank, period. I think Josh Norman is the best cornerback, as though he's playing right now as the best cornerback in the National Football League. What is my only I'm skeptical of their wide receivers, and I said that all year. Every other position, I'm okay with. Defense, linebackers, leadership, all those different things, offensive line, tight end, running backs, I think are good. But wide receiving core, I still think they're average. I think Cam Newton make these guys a lot better than what they are, and I think with the help of Greg Olsen occupying the middle and so much attention being drawn to him, it opens up opportunities for them. That's why I'm at the Carolina Panthers. I don't have anything negative to say about them, anything like that. That's my one hang-up, and if you look at what I said, Dan, you can probably agree that no one – does Ted Ginn Jr. scare you? Does any of those receivers scare you outside of Greg Olsen?
No.
Okay. Then I guess I'm trending the right way then.
Okay, but how did you get into this beef with Josh Norman?
It's amazing, man. We were doing a segment on PFT, and they asked me, it was between Julio Jones and Josh Norman, who gets the edge in this battle. And I said, I think Julio wins this battle because Josh hasn't seen a receiver on his level, the size, the speed, the great hands, route running, blah, blah, blah. But at the end, and this is the key, I did say Josh is the best cornerback in the league. But, of course, the fan goes back. They tweet to Josh and say, well, Rodney Harrison said that Julio Jones is going to get have the edge over you or something like that. Then Josh comes back and says, well, Rodney Harrison stinks at his job, or he's terrible at his job, he's horrible at his job. And I'm like, why, how can you say something like that when you only got part? And I started thinking about this, and then he went deeper and deeper, said I was on steroids and all this other stuff, tried to make it personal. And then he called me a bitter old man. And I said, I'm not a bitter old man because I accomplished more than I've ever could dream of in 15 years of playing football, Dan. I was in all pros, Pro Bowls. I made some good money. I played in 4 Super Bowls. I walked away. In my 15th year, I was offered an 8-figure contract. I walked away from that to come join you in Football Night in America. So I'm not a bitter man because I walked away when I wanted to walk away from the game.
What about the boxing ring comment?
I was just joking. I said, if Josh has any words to me, he can always come to me. We can get in a boxing rink or something like that. After I knock him out, I give him a glass of iced tea. I was joking and everything, but if he wanted to box, I'll box him. I'm still in great shape. I just worked out for 2 hours. I'm in great shape. But let me tell you something, Dan, and this is the thing. This guy is a great football player. I absolutely admire this guy because we're very similar. Same birthday. He was a 5th-round draft choice. He's a defensive back. He's a feisty, competitive guy, and he's always looking for some motivation from other people. That's me. I was the same guy. So him saying that he doesn't like me, that doesn't matter to me. I don't care if he likes me because I don't need him to take me out to dinner or hang out with him and drink a beer. But the point is we're very similar. I respect this young kid. I want this young kid to play well. I want him to go and have a big money contract. I know what it's like to be a 5th-round draft choice and people overlook you. And you look around the league and other guys are getting paid big money and getting the respect, and you feel like that you're not getting the respect. Well, now he's getting his respect. I don't know how many times I have to satisfy his ego and say that he's the best cornerback in the league for him to understand I'm not personally attacking him.
How do you think he'll do against Odell Beckham Jr. this weekend?
I think he'll do really well. I think he'll do a great job against Odell because the one thing that Odell doesn't like, he doesn't like guys to get up in his face and jam him. And one thing about Josh, as we saw last week against Julio, he'll get in your face. Julio's 6'3", 230 pounds. He'll get in your face. He'll push you and shove you. And Josh has those long arms. He's a lot stronger than what he looks. And he will give problems to Odell coming off the line of scrimmage. That's what I think.
Is Odell Beckham Jr. the best wide receiver?
No, not. He might be a really great athlete, and he's exciting to watch. He's got so much more room to grow. He's an exciting young player. I'm really excited about watching him, but no, he's not. Julio Jones is flat out the best wide receiver in this league.
It's not even close?
I'm not saying he's not close. See, what it is a lot of times we confuse being a great wide receiver with being a great athlete. Antonio Brown is a great wide receiver. He's a great football player. You know, and that's what we're starting to see. We're starting to see a lot of these great athletes, you know, but when I look at Julio is polished, like the route running, setting up the defensive backs, the hands, and all those different things. But Odell is fantastic. I mean, come on, Dan. We sit back every single week, and what do you always say? Oh, it must be the gloves. And I'm always saying, Dan, it's not the gloves. Stop hating on them.
Don't you think the gloves are unfair?
Of course the gloves are unfair. Of course they are. It's crazy.
It's a performance enhancer, Rodney.
Yeah, I know about that, right?
According to Josh Norman, you do. Okay, I'll leave you with this. If I give you Carolina or the field to go to the Super Bowl out of the NFC.
Hello?
Yeah?
I'm sorry, I almost hung up on you.
Okay. If I gave you Carolina or the field in the NFC to go to the Super Bowl.
See, I'm not going to answer that right now. You know why I'm not going to answer it?
No.
Because I don't want to right now, Dan. But I will say this. I will say their toughest challenge will be Seattle, and it will also be Green Bay.
But you like Seattle as the most dangerous team. You said that on Sunday.
But I didn't say that they were the best team. I said Carolina at the beginning of this interview is the best team in the league right now. But in a week or 2, 3 weeks, things could change.
If Seattle played Carolina right now.
I'm taking Seattle right now.
All right. There's bulletin board material right there.
You always, you know what? It doesn't matter. I take so many shots from people. It's all good.
Hey, you know what? You're doing your job.
Hey, that's what I do.
Hey,
Dan.
I've said this about you, that I knew you weren't going back to play when you started being honest about whatever you saw in the NFL, and that included ripping the Patriots secondary, where you said that a couple of years ago is basically garbage. And I realized then that you were in it for the long haul, because that's the hardest part. As a former player, you can't play favorites. You're going to have friends, but you have to be honest to your employers. And, you had to do that.
You know, it's funny because people walk around and they try to call me a homer and stuff like that. And I'm like, do you ever sit back and listen to what I say? Because if you listen to what I'm saying, I'm very fair. I'm very honest with everyone that I talk about. You know, and even when I played, when I screwed up, I called myself a screw up. When it was time to blame myself, I blamed myself. I took responsibility, and that's part of being a man, but that's part of the responsibility I have, you know, on the stage that I have. So, you know, Carolina and all the rest of the people can say what they want. I call them 10%ers because they hear 10% of the bad, and they forget about 90% of the good that we talk about, you know, and that's the unfortunate part.
Can you see Brady and Belichick going out at the same time? Could you ever see one staying and one leaving?
Well, it's one of those tricky things. It's because, you know, if Tom Brady retires, then Belichick might say, well, let me prove to everyone that I can, you know, have another winning season without Tom Brady, because they're always going to connect me. But it's one of those things where if Tom Brady plays another 5 years, I mean, if I'm Bill Belichick, I'll coach him another 5 years. But, yes, I can see them both going out together. What more does Bill really have to, to really prove? And, you know, and really, Dan, Bill is one of those guys where he has so much energy. I mean, this is kind of his life and his passion. I could see him doing it for another 10 years.
Were you allowed to talk to him in the hallway?
Yeah, I'd say, what's up, Coach? Hey, how are you? What's all right? And keep it moving.
Would he even make eye contact with you when you're walking down the hall?
Sometimes he'll come over and he'll just talk, and he'll talk to me for 10 or 15 minutes. Other times he'll see me, he'll look and won't even speak, and then sometimes he'll speak to me. It's Coach. I just looked at it. Look, coaches have a lot of responsibility. It's just a lot more than X's and O's. They got to deal with charities and business fairs and general managers and owners and all that other stuff. So I understand he's got a lot on his plate.
I was told you weren't allowed to look Brady in the eye when you played there.
Me?
Yeah, you weren't allowed to. That nobody was allowed to look him.
You know what the thing about everyone puts Tom on this pedestal? The cool thing about Tom is so down to earth, and everyone asks me, hey, man, what was it like to play with Tom Brady? I was like, screw Tom Brady. I played with some other great players. I played with Brewski and Richard Seymour and Willie McGinnis and Ty Law. Like, you think Tom Brady wins all these Super Bowls without these guys? You're crazy.
Thank you, Rodney.
Thank you, Dan.
I'll talk to you Sunday.